You're joining up two dots and calling it a trend line. And you somehow think that is going to make you a professional trader. Joining up two dots. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Do you really think that the net demand for Forex, crypto, equities, whatever it is you trade, can be predicted by joining up a line that any 4-year-old could draw? Clearly not. In fact, when I worked on one of the biggest trading floors in the world at Barclays Investment Bank, it's the exact type of question we used to ask ourselves. Why do so many retail traders think trading is the exact type of question we used to ask ourselves? Why do so many retail
Hello, sorry. I should unmute my mic, shouldn't I, really? That would be helpful. Yeah, hello, morning. Sorry, I was just saying I put up Nirav for you this morning because we haven't had him for a while. Morning, Sompaliu, Lada Themba, Johannes. Right, I've just closed out US dollar CAD, by the way, this morning. I ought to post this in the Telegram group, hadn't I? Just quickly screenshot this and pop it in the group. Right. Yeah, so just closed that out this morning, just banked 0.8%. I've got Euro US dollar running in profit at the minute. So I'm just going to leave that this morning and just see what happens with that one. We might get a drop on the euro. It's certainly looking weak. We've got such a long way to drop down to these propulsion gaps on the euro. I mean, the closest propulsion move is nearly an ADR away. So I'm going to hold on to this one for the minute. I've only got 3 positions on it and just see what happens ahead of CPI. So we'll see if we get a push down. If we can break yesterday's low today, next target is obviously previous day's low and then down here. So if this gets down to here by the time CPI comes out, I'll close that and break even that. And I'll either get stopped out on that or CPI will drive it. We'll see what happens. But anywho, CPI day. So 1:30, all going to kick off. We got the inflation figures for US, probably the most important thing on the calendar at the minute. So if we get green numbers, we tend to get positive movement. So we've had regular green numbers coming in. We had a 0.2 miss in August. Apart from that, inflation is going up. So we'll see. The Fed rates obviously are now fairly high. So there is a chance that they may be getting on top of inflation. We will find out obviously today, and that will affect that. We got Macklem speaking later, and then we got more talking heads, 5:30, 6:30 as well. So there's talking heads from sort of 5 o'clock-ish onwards as well. So need to be aware that they might move the market too. Tomorrow morning we've got GDP, but all revolving around that today. We had a load of news coming out of the Bank of Japan last night. Spoke to Kishida about Forex, one-sided sharp yen weakening is undesirable for the economy, blah, 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 blah. Basically just backing up the fact that they will intervene, although they said they didn't. They did, because somebody did, and if it wasn't them, who was it? It was them. Morning, Diamond. So yeah, Bank of Japan just reaffirming that they are not going to let FX moves go against them in any way, shape or form moving forward. There's lots of other stuff coming out of Bank of Japan as well. The most important thing was the interest rate increase. They're saying that they will not increase their interest rates. as it will be detrimental to the economy. Which is fair enough, but you've got to do something about your currency, mate. There's no point in having an economy if the currency is worth absolutely nothing. So obviously they need to do something about this. But lots of talk about basically bolstering up the economy, which will obviously drive the yen up, which will drive everything down against the yen, which is why I've got a weak bias against that. Obviously, we had the midterms results starting to trickle in, looking like the Republicans are taking half, basically, which isn't good because it takes the power away from Biden. So we're still unsure as to exactly what the results are going to be, but it's not looking good, is it? There's nowhere near a majority for the Democrats. So it just means that trying to get anything through Congress is going to be really hard for them, which, it's kind of pointless having a government, isn't it? But anyhow, so that's news overnight. So focus is on CPI for the day. So I'm just mute my desktop audio because I don't need that one. So that's basically what I've got exposure on at the moment. Aussie New Zealand yesterday, I took a load off that, made a load of profit on that. Well, not a load of profit, made some profit on that yesterday. Did a little bit more DD control. So all very comfortable now, just down to 1.1. The EA took 2 more positions on this for me yesterday. So on M5 alerts yesterday, the EA took one, because I closed out. Can't see it here. I closed out this one, which was a manual. I closed out this one, which was taken by the EA. So the EA is now replacing this position with new reversal alerts. We got a reversal alert here. So the EA put a 17 on there. And then we got a pullback and a reversal alert in here. So the EA's put that 0.23 on for me as well. So I've got a little bit more exposure on the Aussie New Zealand. We're going into a bit of an accumulation, but it's looking good from a market structure perspective, obviously, at the moment. So we've had the big pull down, we've had the move, the attempt higher, the wick off spring, then we've pushed up. I was hoping for an accumulation somewhere around here. What we've actually got is an accumulation here, which is at these highs here. So it's all right where it is. We have had a reverse alert to the downside, but if this holds and breaks, i.e. we get more New Zealand dollar weakness today, I should be looking for a leg up. So market structure, that's not really right, is it? That's your peak formation low. High, broken the high, pull back, push. So that's what I'm looking for. ADR hit, we'd need an ADR hit today pretty much to get that new high in. So obviously nothing is going to move much until CPI today. So it's all about CPI. So I doubt very much we'll get much movement this morning. Market's just open. Let's have a look at the DAX. So I've still got my shorts on the DAX, targeting the gap fill. I wish I listened to myself. I said we're gonna have a rotation day today. What do we have? Rotation day. Why don't I ever listen to myself? Anyway, so we've had this that big push up on FOMC, off the back of FOMC, and 3-day push, accumulation, drop. So this is turning into potentially a 3-bar reversal on daily. So actually we got an inside bar yesterday, didn't we? Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, so inside bar. Right, so yeah, pause candle. So 3-day push, inside bar, looking for a bear move today, which will tie in absolutely perfectly with positive CPI figures, driving US, tanking indices. So it's all set up for positive inflation figures off of CPI. If we get green CPI, we should get a 3-bar reversal or an inside bar break to the downside there and potentially start new leg down. But that's what I thought here, wasn't it? And then we had another 3-day push. So we'll see what happens. but I'm looking for negative moves today. I doubt very much we'll get anything this morning very much. So we'll see what the opening range is. It's looking fairly small at the moment. We've got 3 minutes left on the candle yet though. We've got a small gap there. But yeah, we'll see. Potcoater, morning. Which other news site do you use for Forex Factory and Financial Juice? So Financial Juice is, so the reason I use the two is this is scheduled news, which is economic figures. What's going on, what's scheduled to be released. These are scheduled news releases. Obviously, this is scheduled news releases as well, but this is everything else you need to know about. Bombs got off in Kiev, killed, blah, blah, blah. It's important. This comes up in here. So this is a live news feed, which is all the important stuff to do with finance. Stuff that impacts the market. It doesn't help you really on a day-to-day basis. But when something goes crazy like that, you need to know why. If it's a fundamental thing that the Fed has just said they're going to increase interest rates by 1%, and the US dollar has tanked, you know damn well that you should be doing nothing but short this, not fade it. So this is why I use this sort of thing. So when you see a big movement, you need to know why that big movement happened. And obviously it helps for a fundamental bias, like things that with the yen, with Japan. We know Japan are defending hard at the moment, so it's unlikely the yen is going to make an awful lot of headway. I only know that because of what I see coming out in here. But it's only for long-term bias. So 1 minute left on the open. Oil yesterday, another big down day. Not expecting that. So we stopped basically at this low, this accumulation here before we broke higher, and it's pushing down again this morning. So we had obviously oil news coming out yesterday. We had a positive barrel count, which doesn't help with oil pricing. Obviously, positive. It's the first time it's actually worked, isn't it? Normally we see the barrel count come out and we're like, oh, that's good, that should do this, and then it does the opposite. But yesterday we had a positive barrel count, obviously, which drives the oil prices down, which it actually did yesterday. So we got the expected movement, which is nice. But yeah, so from an oil perspective, we are looking for new highs, but what we got was a double top. So this low needs to remain intact. We've broken obviously that low. We've just broken that low. So anywhere around ADR today, I would be very surprised if we did get down to ADR today. I'd be very surprised if we broke at that 82 level. If we do, something's wrong. Or they're just dragging this 100 to 110 barrel target out longer than expected. So, don't know. But looking for longs on oil. Any kind of bullish price action. We had a bullish 4-hour candle go in. Let's say it's bullish. It's not really. It's a doji. But any kind of bullish price action you see coming in, reverse alert on the hourly, potentially on M15. I'd be interested in taking long, but I was interested in taking a long yesterday, and obviously oil came down, but that was basic. That was on news. We've got no news on oil till next Wednesday, so obviously we'll see. But CPI today, when the US rallies, potentially we could get a rally off oil as well, but we'll see what happens. Okay, opening range is in. We've got an opening range breakout to the upside so far. I'm not going to scalp this morning because obviously I'm short in a position at the minute. Oh, and gold yesterday. So yeah, I took I took multiple trades actually on gold yesterday. God, this thing, gold. Look at the swap. I posted this in the Telegram group. Look at the swap on this. I paid £4 swap for an overnight position on gold, right? And then you look at the swap on this one here, for example. I paid £3.94 to hold Aussie New Zealand for a month. I held this for a month and paid £3.94. I held this for 24 hours and paid £4. I'm not interested, gold. Sorry. You either scalp it intraday or you don't even touch it for position trading. If I position trade this and hold it for a month, I'll be paying $120 in a swap. That's just ridiculous. And that's on one position. Imagine if you had 5 positions running. Yeah? You'd be paying 10% of your account in swap. It's just ridiculous. Not interested. Another reason why, which I completely forgot about, why I don't position trade gold. But anyway, gold yesterday. This one stopped out at break even. And that one was a profit. So banked 3% yesterday. Part of that was on a gold scalp. So I took short there, added to the short there, as we know. This one I sorry, that's there. I took that one off on a trailing stop, added to the position again as it pushed down. So I had 3 positions short. That one got out on the trailing stop, and then it pushed up and took me out. It took out the liquidity of yesterday, which I posted in the Telegram group. And I got into a position. As soon as I saw that, I was like, right, that's it. They've done it. They've liquidity run everybody that shorted this thing, me included. So I jumped straight back in, added a second position. And as it came down towards the end of New York, I took that one off at support, which I'm glad I did. And then I broke even the second position. Well, I thought I broke even it. I didn't break even it. I made £2 profit on it, but paid £4 in swap. So I actually made a loss on a break. It's a positive break even trade, and I made a loss on it. That's how crap gold is. So anyway, you're off my radar. Not interested. But anyway, if you want to, when the CPI figures come out, that's getting filled. Assuming we get positive. Obviously, if we don't, we're going the other way. But that will get filled today. So if you want to start a position on this short, or if you want to take a speculative news trade, entry under yesterday's low, you get gathered up as it comes down and TP it down there somewhere. I'm not getting involved because that thing. I said yesterday, didn't I? I said I'm going to regret this, and I did. That wiped 1% of my account off yesterday. I'd have been sitting in a nice 4% profit yesterday, not 3. If it wasn't for gold. But saying that, I did make it all back and more on that. So it's horses for courses, isn't it, really? Anyway. So that's what I've got on at the minute. There's no ADR hits today. There's no weeklies again. We're on Thursday. And we're also on the second week of the month. There's no monthlies and there's no weeklies. I haven't seen this flat like this for a long time. Normally we've got something that's gone mental so far, haven't we? Nothing's gone far enough to get any weekly or monthlies. I even refreshed the dashboard yesterday just to double check it was working. Because I'm like, well, why is nothing lighting up? It's flat. So yeah, we're just waiting at the moment for something to actually move, and obviously it's all going to happen on CPI today. 4-hour extensions, we've got Aussie Swiss. That's nicely stretched out to the downside. We had a big strong move on this yesterday. The Swiss franc yesterday, as you can see, the CAD Swiss, New Zealand Swiss and the Aussie Swiss all extended. So we had that big strong Swiss franc movement coupled with a weak New Zealand. It's pushed this down very, very nicely. We're just getting rejection down at the 24 moving average at the moment on New Zealand dollar Swiss. So all of these, they are counter trend, but they are very extended. So there is potential for you to get in on our opportunity there. But obviously just bear in mind, anything you're going to get into today, you are completely at the whim of CPI. CPI is going to move everything today. So it's, whatever you do today, this is going to go in one direction or the other at 1:30 this afternoon. Don't know which direction it's going to go in, but everything's going to move when CPI figures come out for the US, because currency is going to get pushed and pulled around all over the place when money's moved around in or out of the dollar. So whatever you take on today, you'll either be out of it today or adding a position today. So just bear that in mind if you're going to get into anything. And CAD Swiss obviously nicely extended as well. CAD Swiss hasn't really got a directional bias at the moment. We're kind of, this is the one that's the longest flag in the world. We're just kind of sitting, but that flag has just broken. So if you're going to take that, I would say potentially you might be starting that kind of movement, but it's the CAD. If the US dollar pumps, the CAD will likely get dragged along with it. So it's a really difficult one to call, the CAD Swiss at the minute. It's not a very good bias because the bias on it is kind of long against long, which typically would mean some kind of range or accumulation. And as you can see, it's very, very nice and orderly the way it's trading. So you can kind of take any RSI extension you like on this, and chances are it will play out. But I've got no bias on it. And New Zealand dollar Swiss. New Zealand had this lovely little rally. We had a massively weak move on the New Zealand dollar yesterday. It really, really tanked, which was great because I got out of my New Zealand dollar yen. But as you can see, came down really hard. New Zealand CAD came down hard. New Zealand yen hard. Everything came down really hard. New Zealand. So, but obviously we've had this big strong move on New Zealand dollar. It's had nothing but positive figures come out. Inflation not as high as expected, and interest rates getting on top of everything. It's just all been going well for New Zealand dollar, but that all fell out of bed yesterday. Very, very sharpish with a strong Swiss franc and a weak New Zealand. So it's whether or not they can recover from here. So you are, from a technical perspective, trend based, you are potentially in a pullback on the trend, and we're now starting the next leg. Also, you may be starting a trend reversal. Yeah, so a move like that. So it's a very difficult one to call as to whether this is counter trend or with trend. It's certainly with short-term trend, isn't it? Whether it's long-term trend down and you're trading counter trend against the long-term, don't know. So it's a tricky one, tricky position. But like everything, if you like it long and you like this to continue, take it, and obviously you'll scale in. If that isn't the right entry, that one might be, that one might be. So just scale in accordingly. Stevie, no weekly ADRs hit so far this week, so definitely going to move everything today. Yeah. Yep. Totally flat. Totally flat. It's very weird. It is very weird. I don't think I've ever been on a Thursday without a weekly hit. At least one. It's like, it's just the calm before the storm, isn't it? It's that tumbleweed moment where we're sitting there waiting for something to happen. DAX has just broken back inside. So we got the opening range breakout to the upside. We've just closed back inside the opening range again. So if we were looking at the futures market, you'd see a large amount of limit orders sitting there. We know that because that's where that has executed multiple times. So potentially we might start a down leg from here. Good short position. Sell stop under the low. Obviously I'm already in, so I'm not going to take it, but I get in on a break of that candle, and I get in on a break of that. If we're going low, short, but I'm not expecting a massive movement this morning. So that's your 4-hour extensions. That's all you've got. Hourlies, same thing. We've got Aussie Swiss extended on the hourly. Again, very extended, very strong move that was. New Zealand dollar really weak yesterday, and the Swiss franc really strong, and the Aussie dollar weak. Aussie dollar was stronger than New Zealand though, which is great because that pushed up. So yeah, good mean reversion opportunity on that one, nicely extended. We got the Euro odd, also very extended. Euro extended to the upside. We got the Euro New Zealand extended to the upside as well. Lovely shooting star. Actually, it's more of a doji, but it's a hell of a wick, isn't it? So big rejection there, although it is rejecting to the downside at the moment. So no idea. And New Zealand dollar Swiss. Again, very extended and embedded. So we got extended here and we just basically trickled down. So again, that propulsion gap likely to act as a target. You've got lots of resistance as well along the way. So you've got to get through all of this to get to that propulsion gap, but that's a 125 ADR move. So again, no reason why CPI can't move that. So lots of extensions on there. We've got the hourly 14 RSI extensions, which obviously are the same things, just stronger, because obviously it is a faster RSI, so you're going to get extended quicker. But on that one, you've got a few extras creeping in. Aussie US is also just about extended. What else we got? New Zealand yen, New Zealand US, and US CAD. So New Zealand yen, obviously I got out of this one yesterday somewhere. Do I have two positions on that? Oh yeah, sorry, I had two positions on it, didn't I? Yeah, because I put half the size on by accident, so I doubled it. So yeah, just took that one off yesterday. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, extended to the downside. So again, if we're going to get decent movement, positive on US, that's coming down further. So not probably the best mean reversion. And US dollar CAD, that's what I've just got out of. So again, I think this has got, the only reason I'm getting out of this is because I need my exposure today as low as possible on US. I had 3 US longs on, and I am actually double exposed on US as well at the moment, because obviously with the DAX is any indice that you trade, you are basically trading the opposite direction to the US dollar. So if the US dollar pumps today, the indices will typically drop. So I've actually got a US dollar long on there, and I've got a US dollar long on there because I'm short the DAX. So I've actually got 2 US dollars on, which is why I wanted to get out of this US dollar CAD this morning, just to reduce my exposure. I've still got Euro US dollar on, obviously, and because I'm short with a position on the DAX at the moment, if this US dollar does tank today on the figures for any reason, I'm going to go into drawdown on both of these. So what I will be doing is, as we get close to CPI, I will be banking anything that's in profit. I probably would leave that one on, to be honest, but I'll be banking that. If I've got any profit on the DAX, I'll be banking that as well. And then obviously if it goes my way, fantastic. These will go into profit and I'll bank them. These will go into profit and I'll bank them. If it doesn't go my way, I want that in my bank so I can use it in case I need it in the future for drawdown control. Same as usual, we just bank profit and wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's all we've got this morning. So there's lots of Aussie Swiss is the most extended thing out there at the minute. It is starting to push. We had a nice hammer on that this morning. Hello, soon. So nice bit of rejection there, but obviously it seems to be rejecting again to the downside. No profit take on this move really at all. We had an accumulation. So we pushed, accumulated, pushed, accumulated, pushed. We've had no profit take move whatsoever on it. So it's very due. It's very extended and obviously embedded down here. So looking good for a long. But obviously it's a massive counter trend trade. Yeah, this is obviously coming down hard. So you are trading counter trend against it. So just be careful, mean reversion on this. Likely might come down and retest these lows. So you're halfway towards potentially where it's going, which is kind of an ADR and a bit away. So 3 positions on if needed. But it's going to have to push very hard to get down there, isn't it? We're extended on the hourly. We're extended on the 4 hourly. And this is really extended. So it's really good mean reversion. But personally, I hate taking on new positions ahead of massive news events. Too scary. Okay, DAX is pushing up. So structure at the moment bullish. Just taking out that high. And obviously pre-market high as well. So see if that's a liquidity run and whether we're going to go anywhere today. Has anybody got anything they want to look at this morning? Because I haven't really got anything else to cover. I went through all the pairs yesterday, and obviously with a day like today, there's not, everything is basically waiting for the CPI figures to come out. So I'm going to have a whiz through the indices and oil, but I'm not going to go through all the FX pairs again. So if anybody's got any questions or anything like that, anything wants to discuss anything, ask any questions, anything about the Bootcamp, anything in trading in general, anything, let me know, and we can obviously look at it. So yeah, oil, as I say, I've really covered this one, but this is the level I'm interested in down here. If we get anywhere near that today, I might be tempted. But I'm slightly worried about taking it ahead of CPI. So if we got a big tank on this, I think I'd be interested in longing it. But we'll see what happens on that this morning. So DAX, obviously I covered this one. We are up at the 200. We've just had an inside bar. So inside bars are great reversal patterns. So when you get an inside bar, it's basically after a push, it's basically the market being indecisive. So bulls couldn't make a new high, bears couldn't make a new low. We've got indecision in the market. We're waiting for something to happen. And obviously the anticipation is that we're going to get positive CPI, which would be positive US movement, which would be negative index. So if you want to get in, if you want to position trade, things like this, these are the perfect examples of when you would start a long-term position. So the investment banks and hedge funds, they trade mainly daily charts. And these sorts of days are the ones where they are like, right, we'll start looking when we break that low, adding on a break of that low, and then adding to position as it drops. And obviously, as we know, we are still in a bear market. And to be out of the bear market, we need to invalidate that high. So we're very close to that. 200 ADR move to the upside is really all the market should tolerate if we're staying in this bear market. If we're not, this thing's coming down from here. If we're not going to break out, obviously this thing quite possibly is coming down from here today. So we will see. If you look at the US indices, what happened to those yesterday? Big bear day. So obviously with the DAX, we had an inside bar. With NASDAQ, we had a bearish engulfing after a spinning top, which is a 3-bar reversal. Again, bearish signal. So we started bearish. Again, if you want to get in this, break of yesterday's low, quite possibly coming down to ADR today, testing that low there. Again, bear market. So the US, the NASDAQ is the index that did not make it on the news. So we had the earnings fortnight and it didn't manage to get anywhere. So we didn't manage to get a reversal. We didn't manage to break that high on earnings, and it's looking very, very heavy and weak at the moment. Whereas the S&P obviously had a rally, got a reversal alert, put in a new high, structure change to the upside. Again, 3-bar reversal yesterday. So the US indices all very, very weak yesterday. Dow as well. Same thing, just rolling over. Obviously, the Dow is the stronger out of all of the indices at the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, yeah. If you look at the pullbacks, yeah, this is exactly where next leg should be starting. So today, obviously with CPI, there's a very strong probability of a big down day for all indices. So we will see. But I'm short on the DAX, as I say, but they're all teetering on the edge of collapse. And this is on the assumption, obviously, we're staying in this bear market, which, the fact that the US hasn't actually announced they're in recession yet, it's just like as soon as they do announce it, we're not going up, are we? So yeah, not good. But the only thing that could reverse this bear market is if they get on top of inflation. In which case, if today's figures come out as a negative, you could possibly have a push. We could start to see a reversal in the bear market. But all signs at the moment are pointing towards a collapse. So thoughts across the board. Look at Bitcoin. Rats sinking ship. Yeah, just somebody posted in the Telegram group this morning a buy on Bitcoin. So I booted him. I didn't boot him because he said buy Bitcoin, but I booted him for another reason. But anyway, I don't just generally boot people, but not that nasty. But don't buy Bitcoin, please. And this thing is fundamentally linked to the indices at the moment. And it's coming down worse than the indices, as you can see. There was a news article came out yesterday that I saw about one of the cryptocurrency founders lost 95% of his billions, his wealth. Yes, in the last 2 days, 95 wiped out. It's gone. He's now not a billionaire anymore. Yeah, if you're in the crypto market and you can't trade crypto, kind of tells you it's just all not happening. It's not working, is it? So that thing's dead on its arse. And gold, as we've looked at, gold is also in a good spot for shorts. Next leg down. We got that triple bottom put in. We are at the moment on a lower high. So assuming that we are going to get US dollar strength, gold's coming down this afternoon as well. And obviously there's a hell of a target to aim for. But I mean, you're looking at new lows eventually on this. So, but gold had this rally was not all US related. There was a lot of buying in gold here. So, as I say, it could hold up better against the US this afternoon. We'll see. Morning, Neo. Mace, what's your main focus when you look at charts in the morning? I don't really have, RSI. I don't look at charts. I mean, I don't look at charts. I look at charts in the morning, obviously, but I don't trade a time frame. Mainly, and H4 is my analysis, isn't it? How can I join your Telegram group? Go to Telegram. Link in the pinned message. Link in the description. Somewhere. There. Click that. FTX got bust as fraud. FTX, what's that? I've not heard of that. So my main focus, I mean, I take it you've watched the Bootcamp, haven't you, Mace? I presume. If not, go and watch the Bootcamp. But my main focus, my main condition indicator is the RSI on the 4-hour chart. So I'm looking for extended conditions to mean revert in line with trend. Which is why I have the RSI dash and the ADR dash. But ADRs, yeah, I mean, ADRs are not really, if you get an ADR extension in the morning, it means there's been a lot of move for me anyway, because I'm obviously in the UK. It's for Asian session. So if you get something that's hit ADR in the morning for me, there's been a busy Asian session. So yeah, I'll be interested in those from a mean reversion perspective. But this is the ADR dash is what you use throughout the day. So when we get strong movement and something goes beyond its normal average daily range, there's obviously a mean reversion opportunity there, isn't there? So This I'm paying attention to all day long. We're stalling here on the DAX. So we just about made a new high. New high or low, just about made a new high. If this doesn't actually close above there, I'd say this is probably stalling out. We'll see what happens this candle. We've got another 2.5, 3 minutes left on this. Might get a bit of a rally up this morning. You know, if it's going to go anywhere up towards here, it's obviously getting ready potentially for a drop on the CPI figures. So we may well come up and retest yesterday's high today. Looks like it wants to go there, doesn't it? Which is fine. I'll put another position on up there. Crypto exchange sponsoring AMG Petronas in Formula One. Biggest next to Binance. Was it FTX? Got bust as fraud, did it? Blimey. Not familiar with them, but I don't trade crypto. I've never traded crypto because it's not real. I can't trade it. I can't trade something that's just, you know, I just don't get it. And that's why it's collapsing, because the world doesn't get it. We're quite happy with our dollars and our pounds and our euros. Thank you very much. We don't need something manipulated by computers and makes billionaires and makes everybody else poor. It's like binary options. We don't need that either. It's all a scam. It's all a con, as far as I'm concerned. If Elon Musk decides he's going to take payment in for Teslas in crypto and then turns around and goes, actually, no, good enough for me. He knows what he's talking about. If you don't want it, I don't want it. Everything Elon says is crypto. Is crypto. Is gospel. Not really. Right, so we've got that breakout to the upside. So it looks like we want to go long at the moment on the DAX. Targets, if we're going long this morning, we're looking somewhere around there. Not far away, but obviously yesterday's high and previous day's high are obvious targets. So we're looking for reversals up there. And then obviously when the news comes out, potentially down. That's really all I've got for you this morning. So if anybody's got anything else they want to discuss, I suggest we all get on with watching the market go sideways until 1:30, because that's pretty much all I think we're going to get this morning, or we're going to reach for levels. So just to prepare for the news. So if you want to trade the news, probably, I don't know what's the best thing to trade at the moment. Let's have a look. Pound. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. So probably at the moment right now, Aussie US. But that's extended. So, and so is New Zealand US. You can kind of pick any US pair really. But what I would be looking for is something that's moved nicely sideways. So something that's had a really good, nice sideways movement that's got the US dollar in it. So if the pound US does that today, break of the high, break of the low, well, obviously you're expecting it to do that, but it could well do anything, couldn't it? But this is a proper figure, so you would expect it, rather than them to muck about whipsawing like they do on non-farm payroll, you would expect it just to go in the direction we're going to go. So entry 200 ADR is what I would be looking to do if I was news trading, which is kind of what I've got on. I've got Euro US dollar on, obviously, as a short at the moment, so I'm just going to let this run. But same sort of thing. But you're always looking for something. Ideally, you can get a good limit order in either side, stop orders either side. Tony, does the DAX work like the US, as in the dollar up, down, so euro down, DAX up? Dollar up, Dow down, euro down, DAX up. Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's less linked to the euro. The DAX is linked to the euro, but I mean, you're trading it in euros. It's a euro. This is the euro value for the German index, but it's linked to all indices. So all indices, US indices, they all do pretty much the same thing most of the time. Although at the moment they are a little bit out of sync, as you can see. But the US dollar obviously is king. So when the US dollar drives hard in one direction, the indices tend to drive hard the other way. The DAX will go the same way as the rest of the indices because the stock market works in sectors. So when you've got things like the DAX and the Dow that both have stocks in the same sector, if there's a sector sell on defense, for example, both of these will come down because these both have defense stocks in them. So the dollar up, indices down, dollar down, indices up. But yeah, you can look at it in the same way as the euro down, DAX up. Yeah, you're right in that respect. So if you see the euro pumping, you'll see the DAX dropping. They're inverse. But I tend to pay attention to what I'm expecting the US dollar to do. You see the US dollar's coming down at the moment. Swiss franc's obviously very weak this morning. So, you tend to find the indices going the opposite direction. But yeah, we can use the euro if you want to trade the DAX. But it doesn't help you to look at something like the euro US dollar and the DAX, because if this is coming down, this will be going up. So the fact that you can see that going down and that going up doesn't help you. What helps you is that we've got anticipated movement in a direction coming on the US dollar, i.e. the US dollar pushing up on inflation figures. So we can anticipate a negative movement on the indices today. So latest news, dollar edges lower, CPI inflation. What? Don't understand. Yeah, so yeah. But if you see this suddenly go mental, this will have gone probably mental as well. So it doesn't give you an edge because they both do roughly the same thing. But if you see all the euro pairs suddenly take a nosedive and this doesn't move, that will give you like a little bit of an arbitrage opportunity to put a long position on, won't it? But yeah. But certainly reaching up the DAX this morning. That was a lovely opening range breakout if you'd have taken that this morning. That's about a limit on that one. I'm just taking another sell limit up at the highs. So just going to get in up there and assume that we're going to I'd be very surprised if we break out of yesterday's high and stay outside of yesterday's high. I would imagine we're going to pull back inside with the news today. So we'll see. US indices aren't moving as much though, are they, this morning? Still pushing up, obviously just not as far or hard as the DAX. But yeah, so so pay attention obviously this morning to what goes on. But as I say, we're all waiting for this to come out, and then when this happens, we'll get all the movement today. So I'm just going to manage my positions. I'm not going to take anything new on today. In fact, I need to make sure the EA is not going to get me into anything. DAX, I don't mind if it takes shorts. Pound US dollar, definitely want off. Aussie New Zealand, I'm in. Aussie Swiss. That's shorts, isn't it? Yeah, I don't mind that. Euro Swiss is shorts. That's fine. Euro US, I'm in. New Zealand CAD is shorts. Yeah. Just going to take the higher time frame moving average off of that and just take shorts on that one. US dollar CAD longs is fine. Again, I'm just going to take off the higher time frame moving average filter. And pound Swiss is shorts. Don't really want to trade that at the moment. Okay, I'm all set up with the EA. So yeah, I'm just saying I don't really want to take anything new today. I'm just going to manage. Euro US dollar will look after itself. Obviously, I will be closing out that one, assuming we're in profit. So if whatever we're doing, if we're in profit, I mean, if we get to 1% on this, I'll be shutting the lot and just banking it because I'm 11% so far this month, so I'm just going to bank it. But it's the Aussie New Zealand I've got to deal with, and obviously the DAX will be my exposure on the US dollar. So I'm just going to manage these two at the moment, and there's nothing else really that I'm interested in getting into today. If we got extensions still tomorrow after we've got the CPI figures, then I'll probably look at getting something else. But all right, guys. So that's really all I've got for you today. DAX. If you want to scalp the DAX today, this is where I'd be looking for signs of bearish price action, and I'd be anticipating a sort of movement, something around yesterday's high and low. So inside bar, and staying inside of this inside bar today until CPI, and then obviously we'll go wherever we're going to go. But obviously everything's looking like that bear run is going to continue, and we're just waiting for the dollar. So today could be the day. Make a lot of money. All right. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time. If you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. So you can always come in there and ask questions if necessary. But I'll post anything that I'm getting out of. If you're in stuff the same as I am in, obviously post when I'm getting out of bits and pieces. But as I say, there's not a lot really to post because I haven't got a lot on at the moment. So I'll be just managing those. All right. So good luck this afternoon. I'll be around at 1:30 watching, and I'm not really going to scalp. I might scalp some futures, but I'm not going to scalp on here. So I will be watching it and watch what happens. Be exciting. Okay. All right, guys. Good luck today. I will see you tomorrow morning. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. Otherwise, I will see you then. Have a good one.